Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellency Mrs.Nadia as the lecturer of teaching, listening and speaking class, honorable all my friends whom I love, good morning everyone. First of all, let's pray and thank unto Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who has been giving us some messages and blessings, so we can join in this online class in good condition and happy situation. We are from third group. We'll be present about the teaching of speaking. Before we start our presentation, I will to introduce the member first. My name is Janah as the first speaker, then Irfani Rahadatul Aisy as the second speaker, then Ahmad Farchan Mudhofar as the third speaker, and the last speaker is Marsha, Ikbaar, Arafa. The teaching of speaking. Approaches to the teaching of speaking in ELT have been more strongly influenced by fads and fashions than the teaching of listening. Speaking in traditional methodologies usually means repeating after the teacher, memorizing a dialogue, or responding to drills, all of which reflect the sentence-based view of proficiency prevailing in the audiolingual and other drill-based or repetition-based methodologies of the 1970s. The mastery of speaking skills in English is a priority for many second language or foreign language learners. Conversational routines. A marked feature of conversational discourse is the use of fixed expressions or routines. They often have specific functions in conversation and give conversational discourse the quality of naturalness. Consider the following routines where might they occur. The example is once only. I don't believe a word of it. I don't get the point. You look great today. Holly and Cedar suggest that native speakers have a repertoire of thousands of routines like this, that their use in appropriate situations creates conversational discourse that sounds natural and native-like, and that they have to be learned and used as fixed expressions. One style of speaking reflects the roles, age, sex, and status of participants in interaction, and also reflects ways in which it is possible to ask someone the time and the different social meanings that are communicated by these differences. The example, what's the time? Phonological and grammatical change may be involved in producing a suitable style of speaking, as the following alternative illustrate. Have you seen may be involved in producing a suitable style of speaking, as the following alternative illustrates. Have you seen the boss? Have you seen the manager? In the lexical. Then, what you are doing? What are you doing? Phonological. Seen you lately. Have you seen you lately? Then, the function of speaking. Numerous attempts have been made to classify the functions of speaking in human interaction. Brown and Yulee made a useful distinction between the interactional functions of speaking, in which it serves to establish and maintain social relations, and the transactional functions, which focus on the exchange of information.
Next, I will explain about talk as interaction. Talk as interaction refers to what we normally mean by conversation and describes interaction that serves a primarily social function. Such exchanges may be either casual or more formal. depending on the circumstances, and their nature has been well described by Brown and Yule, 1983. The main features of talk as interaction can be summarized as follows. First, has a primarily social function. Second, reflects role relationships. And then, reflects speaker's identity. And the next may be formal or casual. And then, uses conversational conventions. Next, reflects degrees of politeness. And then, employs many generic words. And then, uses conversational register. And the last is jointly constructed. And the next is the conversation is highly interactive and is in a collaborative conversational style. The listener gives constant feedback, including laughter, to prompt the speaker to continue. Examples of these kinds of talk are chatting to an adjacent passenger during a planned flight, polite conversation that does not seek to develop the basis for future social contact. Second, chatting to a school friend over coffee, casual conversation that serves to mark an ongoing friendship. And the next is some of the skills involved in using talk as interaction involve knowing how to do the following things. First, opening and closing conversations, and then choosing topics. Third, making small talk. Fourth, joking. Fifth, recounting personal incidents and experiences, and then turn taking. Next, using adjacency pairs. Next, interrupting, and the next, reacting to others, and the last, using an appropriate style of speaking. Mastering the art of talk as interaction is difficult and may not be a priority for all learners. However, they also need practice in introducing new topics into conversation to move beyond this stage.
Talk as transaction refers to situations where the focus is on what is said or done, the message, and making oneself understood clearly and accurately is the central focus, rather than the participant and how they interact socially with each other. Examples of talk as transaction are classroom group discussion and problem-solving activities, a class activity during which students design a poster, discussing needed computer repairs with a technician. The main features of talk as transaction are it has a primarily information focus. The main focus is on the message and not the participants. Participants employ communication strategies to make themselves understood. Some of the skills involved in using talk for transaction are explaining a need or intention, describing something, asking questions, asking for clarification, confirming information, justifying an opinion, making suggestions, clarifying understanding, making comparisons, agreeing and disagreeing.
Hello, my name is Marsha. I will continue our presentation entitled Talk as Performance. The third type of talk that can usefully be distinguished has been called talk as performance. This refers to public talks, that is, talk that transmit information before an audience, such as classroom presentation, public announcement, and speech. For example, here is the opening of a fall welcome speech given by University President. Talk as performance tends to be in the form of monologue rather than dialogue, often follows a recognizable format, example, speech of welcome, and is closer to written language than conversational language. Similarly, it is often evaluated according to its effectiveness or impact on the listener, something that is unlikely to happen with talk as interaction or transaction. Examples of talk as performance are giving a class report about a school trip, conducting a class debate, giving a speech of welcome, making a sales presentation, giving a lecture. The main feature of talk as performance are a focus on both message and audience, predictable organization and sequencing, importance of both form and accuracy. Language is more like written language and often monologic. Some of skill involved in using talk as performance are: first, using an appropriate format, presenting information in an appropriate sequence, maintaining audience engagement, using correct pronunciation and grammar, creating an effect on the audience, using appropriate vocabulary, and using an appropriate opening and closing. Here is the opinion of author about talk as performance. Teacher sometimes describe interesting differences between how learners manage these three different kinds of talk, as the following anecdotes illustrate. I sometimes find with my students at a university in Hong Kong that they are good at talk as transaction and performance, but not with talk as interaction. For example, the other day, one of my students did an excellent class presentation in a course for computer science major and described very effectively a new piece of computer software. However, a few days later, when I meet the same students going home on the subway and try to engage her in social chat, she was a complete loss for words. And another teacher describes a second language user with just the opposite difficulties. He is more comfortable with talk as interaction than with talk as performance. One of my colleagues in my university in China is quite comfortable using talk socially. If we have lunch together with other native speakers, he is quite comfortable joking and chatting in English. However, recently we did a presentation together, a converse, and his performance was very different. His pronunciation became much more Chinese, and he made quite a few grammatical and other errors that I had not heard him make before. Here we are, the presentation of third group. If you have any question, you can comment below. And thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.